We are live, and thank you, Khalilah, for taking time out of your day to spend time with me here and talk about this subject. And I'm gonna let you take a little bit of time to just let the audience know who you are in case they don't know and your background, and we're gonna take it from there.
Okay. Well, I'm Khalilah Joy. That's my name. I'm an actress. I'm a writer. I was born in Thomasville, Georgia. Grew up in Hampton, Virginia. Shout out 757. That's still home to my family. Um, so I came to this business of acting kind of as a hobby at first. This was not my intention. I did not grow up with the goal to become an actor. I came from a family of educators, academics, no one in the entertainment industry. It wasn't really a thing. But after I graduated from UVA, I was going to go to journalism school, grad school, in NYU actually. I had gotten in, but it was so expensive. I was like, let me do something else. Started working at a news station in Norfolk, Virginia, and I was like, oh, maybe this is not actually what I wanted to do. Broadcast journalism was going to be my career, but then I started to second guess that. And my mother mainly, and also one of the other guys who worked at the news station was like, have you ever thought about acting? And my mom was like, you should take some acting classes. You should just do something for fun. And that's really how this journey started. Just doing something for fun, local theater in Virginia. And then I started taking classes at a community college. Then I moved up to DC and I actually started going to a conservatory. That's where I met you, Frank. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think your film was one of the first jobs I ever booked in life. I think I was still in the conservatory or
We'll
just
just make
finishing.
that official. We'll make that official right now.
Yeah, man. It was
Yeah.
like what might have been the first one. And I stayed in that area for just under 3 years, maybe 3 years or so before I moved to LA. And then it was off to the races, and it has been very much a learning curve for me. I did not know about this business. I basically didn't know what I was doing for a smooth 5 years. When I first moved to LA, I was just like winging it, trying to figure stuff out. And, built community out here and just got as much experience as possible. And thank God I'm still here working.
Good, good. Well, I know we could spend forever talking about the past because we got so much to catch up on, but I want to jump right into it. I'm excited about this series, Is Hollywood Dead? And I'm excited to interview various people just to get different perspectives. So I'll just start off with that question. You give me an answer and expound upon it. So, in your opinion, is Hollywood dead?
Is Hollywood dead? No. I do not believe that Hollywood is dead. I do believe that Hollywood is changing at an incredibly fast pace. Um, Hollywood is not what it used to be. I will say that. I think there will always be a Hollywood of some kind. I think the movie, TV, film industry will always be a part of our culture and our society. Um, I don't know if Los Angeles will forever be the center of that. You know what I mean? Like for so many
Mhm.
years, Los Angeles, Hollywood itself has been the center of this industry, and that's changing. And on top of that, the industry itself is changing, whether you're talking about, the streaming platforms and the kind of disruption that caused, good and bad, whether you're talking about AI and trying to navigate that whole situation and what that's going to do to creatives, for creatives in this industry. Um, but it is definitely changing. And there are a lot of other players now in terms of geography. Atlanta's a big hub. There's a huge studio in New Mexico. There's always been New York. Even the DMV, like that is starting to become more of a place where people are shooting. So it's definitely changing, but not dead. I don't think it's dead.
Um, how has the change or the current evolution, how has that affected your career now compared to when you first started, number one? And then number two, what adjustments have you made to stay relevant or to stay in the game, so to speak?
Yeah. Um, how has it affected me personally? Oof. It has required
And
me to
professionally?
adapt. Yes, professionally, that's what I mean.
Mhm.
It has required me to adapt in a lot of ways. It's interesting coming out here, like I said, there's a big learning curve. So I wouldn't say I was really in the industry for maybe 8 years. I think it took me to get my SAG card even. Um, Let me think. I'm trying to think. Maybe just under that. Maybe 6 or 7. So it took a while to actually get in the industry, and then um, what's happening now. And when I say now, I mean post COVID, post strikes, introduction of AI. What's happening now, I think, is affecting a lot of us, actors and writers, because the opportunities right now are not what they used to be. Um, if you think about what used to be considered pilot season, we would be in the throes of that now. 5 years
Mhm.
ago, 6 years ago, we would be in the throes of pilot season. All the networks are trying to get their pilots done. You're getting 3, 4 auditions a week. It's busy. That is no longer the case. That is dead and gone. Bye bye. So, with streaming that started because pilot season didn't really fit anymore because streamers were creating content all the time. And then after the strikes and after COVID, there've been so many mergers of companies, and there have been a lot of layoffs, and people aren't making as much content as they used to. So that's affected me a great deal because there're just not as many opportunities. I'm very fortunate that I've continued to work, am currently working, but it doesn't feel the same. I believe, I won't say I believe, I know. Before COVID happened, my career was on a particular trajectory, and I was really at a place at the beginning of 2020 specifically where I felt like I was about to break through to a different level in my
Mhm.
career. I had already booked a show that had a lot of buzz and prestige behind it. We were supposed to start shooting in March of 2020. Not only did it get delayed, the network dropped it. And I feel like so much of the momentum I had been working for years just kind of fizzled away. And I've been fortunate enough to keep working, but I feel like now I'm having to climb again in the way that I did before. So that's how it's affected me in my career. But again, I don't want to take anything away. I'm very grateful to still be working. But what have I had to do to adapt? I've had to just keep going. Like, this is ebb and flow, this career. Sometimes it's like a lot of stuff
Mhm.
happening. Last year, it was very dry for me. And for a lot of people, it was dry. And so you're just like, well, I got to keep going. I have to keep one, learning, working. I'm always be in class. I'm still in class today. Um, and then
Mhm.
trying to create opportunities for myself. I started writing. I actually got a film optioned, joined the WGA. So I just have to keep finding different avenues to express myself.
Right. So you're having to diversify. I got a question. After the strike, um, has I guess they came to an agreement. Has that
Mhm.
worked? Have Have you seen the benefits from that in a good way, or does it seem like it's pretty much like it was before? Or
Personally, I have not seen the benefits of that yet. Um,
hmm
I hate to say it, but I don't think I'm alone in this. I think a lot of us actors are kind of wondering what the hell it was all for because I know so many incredibly talented, experienced actors who are really struggling right now because after the strike, we thought, okay, we got these concessions that we asked for, not all of them, but we thought it was going to be this great thing. And after the strike, things were going to course correct and we were going to go back to it. And that just simply has not happened.
hmm
Um, there is not the same amount of content being made now as it was before the strike. So the opportunities are a little more limited. And so you start to see actors who have been considered established name actors in this business for decades who are taking roles or being offered roles or even auditioning for roles that would normally go to an up and coming actor trying to get a guest star. And then
Right.
you see this other well-established actress or actor who's been on TV for 25 years in a guest star role for one episode, and you're like, no, what is? But they want to work too, and the
Right.
opportunities are not as plentiful, unfortunately. And
Hmm.
I don't know when that's going to change. To be honest, I really don't. And that's on the writer side too, because I am in the WGA. We have mentor meetings, and professional, well-established writers are struggling to
Right.
get work.
What are your thoughts, or even have you thought about taking more independent work?
I've never shied away from independent work. I think, if you look on IMDb, most of the films I have done have been independent films my entire
Okay.
career. Um, that said, it is also harder now for independent filmmakers. And that's also a result of the business of the industry. Gosh, what is his name? I think it's Sean Hayes. He was at the Independent Film Awards recently and made a speech about this, how indie film is, I don't want to say dying, but it's really having a hard time right now because it's harder to get financed as an indie filmmaker. It's harder to get studios and money behind you, producers behind you, if they don't see big box office potential. And that really affects how
Hmm.
many people get to tell new and innovative stories, or just use indie film as, like what he said, a calling card, instead of actually wanting that to be their career, because it's harder to make a career of it in independent film. The pay is going to be
Right.
lower across the board, from director to actor to grip, and it's just harder to survive
Right.
doing indie film.
Um, I did. Uh, Gary's gonna love me. Gary Sturgis. I interviewed him. And he mentioned, he actually enlightened me to something that I didn't put much thought to it. I'd never put much thought to it. But he said now he'll take a independent film, but now he's more like, I want points, not just pay,
Mm,
but points, because on the union side before COVID, he, I guess with different shows that you had out there, you could depend on the royalties from the money
mm,
coming in. Now that's simply not the case. Now you might have an independent filmmaker that approach you for a role, but and might be willing to pay your day rate for a day or two, but he's like, I'm looking for longevity. I'm looking
mm,
for points. But he said the only problem with that is that, I guess there's been a surge for micro budget filmmakers and films coming out that are playing on Tubi and other places like that. But he said even with that, he said they're starting to tighten the reins. Like they're looking for more quality, technically sound films and things of that nature. He said, there's money in it. But what have you thought about that? Is that something you would consider, I guess, going forward if you did take independent film, like in a way of diversifying? He said, like you said, I heard you say you were a writer. He said he's writing, and so maybe a film may come out and he's starring in it or he has a role in it, but you might see his name in the credits as an
mm,
associate producer, as this, as that, to compensate. So is that
mm.
something that you would consider moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think points on the back end is always um, a nice option to have if you are allowed that. There are some instances where you can ask for that, and the producers or studios like, no, we're not doing that. you know.
Hmm.
Um, but if that is an option and it's a project that I feel passionate about and want to do, I would absolutely take that, even over a day rate. And I think back in the day, we used to work for something called deferred payment,
Mm-hmm.
which would mean, you work for free now, but if I make money later, then we'll pay you. And that's a very similar thing where like you work either for a lower rate and get points on the back end and determined by how successful the film is. Um, so and I've done that too. I've done deferred payment on projects before. So I think if it's financially feasible for me, meaning I don't need the money at the time, so it's not like a big deal in that way. And it's a project that I want to be a part of, and I have that as an option. Absolutely, I would consider that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, now, what is, I know from when you first started, where you are now, uh, how much of it was I want to be a star? Versus I'm passionate about what I want to do, and I just want to make a living doing what I do. What was what was that breakup for at that time when you started, and then now? Where is it? Is it the same, or has that changed? Has that evolved?
Um, it was never I want to be a star for me. That was just never my aim. I wanted to be a successful
Mm-hmm.
working actor, full stop, and consistent. And that is the same for me. Like fame and stardom are just not that interesting to me. I mean, to me, it's almost a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more of a hindrance sometimes because I like privacy, I like anonymity, I like to be able to live my life and not have to feel like I am on all the time. Like I go to the store looking a mess, and I want to be able to do that without somebody taking out their phone and being like, "Ooh, child, we look terrible." You know what I mean? Like it's nice to
Right.
still be able
Right.
to just be a regular person. And fame and stardom have never been that appealing. I simply want to make a good, healthy living as a consistently working actor. And let me add to that, doing work that I am proud of. Because I think that has
Mm-hmm.
also evolved. When you're starting out, you're like, I just want to work. I just want to work. I don't just want to work anymore. I don't just want to work on anything, and I'm not going to.
Given everything that you're going through now with the industry and how things have shifted, because you hear the little stories and the videos that come out, and people are leaving the industry, people start to get full-time jobs and stuff like that. How do you maintain a balance, managing your emotions, managing frustrations of some of the changes moving forward? How do you maintain that balance in your life? I congratulations. I think I saw on Instagram you're married. I may be old news to me, but it looked kind of recent. But congratulations on that. Yeah. How do you maintain a balance in all the areas of your life moving forward, given the current circumstances?
Yeah, that's a great question. Couple things. Emotionally, mentally, therapy. Highly recommend 10 out of 10. Um, yeah, I started therapy consistently about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And, I took some time off in between, of course, but that has been incredibly helpful because it does give you some of the tools that you need to manage the ups and downs of this career. That doesn't mean that I always manage it well. I still crash out sometimes. I
Hmm.
still, get depressed or feel like a failure because I'm not where I want to be, but I'm able to manage it a little bit better and just keep it pushing. And in addition to that, yes, I am married. Thank you. I got married a little over a year ago.
Hmm.
My husband is a huge support. He's also in the industry, but he's also former military, so it's kind of his second act, so to speak. Um, and
Hmm.
having him to one, even just having a shoulder to cry on, or just be there to like bounce ideas off of, that's hugely important. My friendship circle and my community that have here and at home still, because I still have such great friendships back home. That has all been so helpful in me maintaining a sense of balance and like normalcy and not getting completely caught up and swept away in this industry as it can do sometimes. Like it can consume you.
Hmm.
And I think having family, having friendships, having things outside of this business that are important to you are so necessary to keep yourself grounded. Because
Right.
if this is all you got, man, I don't know how you're gonna make it. You
Right.
have to have something else. You have to.
Right. So look, are you in for currently filming season 4, or is it done for Mayor of Kingstown?
Yeah, so we are currently filming. Season 4 started, I think, the end of last year, top of this year. Um, can't say a lot about what I'm doing, but
Right.
yeah, we're currently filming. We're like a little over midway in season 4.
Now, given the current climate and to be in season 4, like, is that a big deal right now for a show to actually make it to season 4? And what are the factors that determine whether or not there may or may not be a season 5?
Um, yes, to answer your question, very big deal making it to 4 seasons. I haven't been on that show all 4 seasons. I just got cast this season, which is a huge blessing. But in
Okay,
general, yes,
congratulations. Mhm.
thank you, thank you. In general, yes, it's a huge deal in this day and age to get 4 seasons because so many incredible shows don't get past season 1. And honestly, Frank, I can't answer what the factors are because it's confusing to me sometimes. There are shows that I see that have incredible critical acclaim, that have huge fan base and following, really good ratings, and then they're canceled. And the world is just like, what just happened? Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's financial. I don't know if it's inner workings of the show, people not getting along. It is very, very difficult to say why shows get canceled. Sometimes it's as simple as the ratings just aren't there. That's
Mhm.
that's the normal answer. But that's not
Right.
always the case. A lot of really tremendous shows just don't get a chance to grow.
Right. You currently live on the West Coast?
I do. I'm in LA.
Okay. Um, ha have you thought about moving? Is that in your thoughts and your plans at some point, or where are you? Where do you stand with that?
100%. Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, the
Okay.
intention is to move back to the East Coast for sure.
Okay.
Um, you know, I've always been clear about that, by the way. Like, I love LA, had a wonderful time in the years that I've been here. I will always come back here to work. This city will always be a part of my life. But I've
Mhm.
always known since the time I moved out here, this was not my home. This was not going to be my final landing spot. I
Okay.
always knew I was going back east. That's just where my heart is. That's where my people are. That's just what pulls me.
Mhm.
And, my husband and I, he's from Mississippi. Both of our families are on that side, closer over there. My dad, my mom has passed, but my dad is aging, and it's just this need to be closer to family. And since COVID,
Mhm.
one thing that I actually consider a benefit of having gone through COVID in this experience in this industry is that self tapes are very much still a thing. And I think self tapes will always be a thing moving forward because it gives everybody involved a lot more flexibility. A producer can be shooting in Prague and be in a casting session on a Zoom. And that's what's happening. Other than commercials,
Mhm.
commercials are going back to in-person auditions, but film and TV is still tape and Zoom. So you don't have to be planted here anymore to have a career. You can be pretty much
Right.
anywhere in the world. And I think that's going to be around forever now.
Right. So we got about 5 minutes. I'm gonna ask one last question, and you can feel free to elaborate with any additional comments or what have you. But like, to an aspiring actor or actress that may be watching this right now, given the current state, what would be your advice?
Mm. A couple things. One, if this is what you want to do, start now. And what I mean is start pursuing it in some way right now, whether that means getting in classes, whether that means filming sketches with your friends and putting them on Instagram, whether that means writing a short and doing a table read, however you want to be involved in this industry, start pursuing that like today. I think, if I could change anything, I don't have many regrets in life. I wish I had started sooner pursuing this industry, this career. So I would say start now is one. I would say learn your craft, number two. And these are not ranked in order, but just what as they're coming to me. Learn your craft, whether you want to be an actor,
Mm-hmm.
a director, a writer. Yes, natural talent is a thing, and God-given talent is a thing, but you can always grow and improve in whatever you're doing. And there are certain things that you just need to know in this business to get ahead. And so whether it's classes or workshops, although be very mindful, there's a lot of people teaching workshops that shouldn't be teaching workshops. That's neither here nor there, but like learn, learn your craft and take it seriously. Um, Two other things, and one of them I'll give credit to my homegirl Kiki Haynes, who's an incredible actress and a good friend of mine, who says this all the time. Learn how to manage your money. Learn how to manage your money. Learn how to manage your money. Like I said, this business is ebb and flow. Sometimes you are making a lot of money in a very short amount of time. Sometimes you are making no money for a year. So you need to understand how to save. And I would say, like she says, also live beneath your means until you're at a position where you're like, I've been a series regular on a show for 4 seasons. I'm good. Do you know what I mean? Like, understand how to manage your money. So if you are not getting the opportunities, or if the job is no longer there, the show gets canceled or whatever, you're not in panic mode immediately because you have managed your finances and you have enough money to sustain you until the next thing. In addition to that, and kind of in the same world, I would say get a skill set that you can leverage into a side hustle, whether it's doing nails or makeup, whether it's you go to bartending school, so that you can have income while you are pursuing this. I think that's one of the most challenging things when you first start out is like, well, how do I make myself available but still make money to live? So if you have a particular skill
Mm-hmm.
set that you can leverage into a side hustle and kind of be self-employed in that way,